The Final Four is set. Put it on the screen. It's a beautiful thumbnail. The French Open Fantastic Final Four. I guess I could have fit another F word in there. What is that called again? Alliteration, something like that? Puns? I never can remember. That's our beautiful Final Four that we have for you. And it is what my draw predicted. I have the draw here. It was all predicted here in the draw. If only I could have put a video out to prove it last week. Sinner Joker. I didn't choose a winner because I just couldn't pick. Carlos over Musetti is what I have. Comment below, what do you have? Let's put another 4 things up on the screen. Mrs. Cat runs away. As Mrs. Cat flees the scene. Oh, she wants back. Come back up. All right, Mrs. Cat is back. Let's put these 4 stats on the screen. Okay, we can't fit them. We'll go with 3. 13 semifinals in all 4 majors from Novak Djokovic. That's incredible. More on that later. It should be 13. Novak Djokovic hit more drop shots than second serves during last night's match against Sasha Zverev. Wild but true. Wild but true. Not too wild with that. What's more wild to me is the court positioning Sasha Zverev has had for freaking 15 years, however long it's been. And then here's another one. This is blowing my mind. Sinner has won 40% of sets with a breadstick or bagel. The golden child, the chosen one. It's all coming true right before our eyes. This guy's taking over the sport. Before we get into some other stuff, let's go to a couple more statistics before we go back to the major semifinals record from Djokovic. Sinner has held in his last 54 service games in a row. That's Roger Federer-like stuff. I always talk about how Djokovic has transformed his serve. He's the best spot server on tour now, probably. He's kind of like Roger Federer with the serving. In the last few years, it's helped Djokovic win as he's gotten older and can't be the physical defensive beast that he could be. Not quite as much. He still obviously plays incredible defense at his age. Let's go over here. Who was it? Oh, Chris Eubanks on the TNT commentary team was saying that TFO's playing the best ever, and it doesn't matter that Musetti has been so good on clay this season that he's going to win it. And I was like, is Chris Eubanks seeing something I'm not seeing? Maybe because Eubanks has played on tour, he's seeing something. Maybe because he has a good friendship with TFO. Maybe he's seeing something that my eye didn't catch. I never pick up TFO to go super far. TFO make a semifinal one time. I sure didn't have him in my draw going that far. Anyways, take a look at this stat. Semifinalist at all Clay Masters 1000s and Roland Garros in a single season. Musetti, he joins an exclusive club. Nadal, Joker, 2008. I wouldn't have guessed that of all the years Joker's been so dominant. I wouldn't think 2008 would be the one where he made all the semis on all the clay tournaments. Andy Murray in 2016. Andy Murray won almost everything or made the finals in 2016. And Zverev in 2022 is very good on clay. Who the heck is going to pick TFO over this guy? As I said in that last video, I'm not fond of picking Americans at the French Open over Europeans who have been winning a lot on clay for years. So speaking of all that, let's go a little bit to that match because I made a mistake. Sometimes it happens here on the show. I said Coco Vandeweghe is doing a really great job on the commentary team. Not doing the matches. She's doing like pre-match, post-match kind of stuff for TNT here in the United States. And she got something so wrong that I take it back. I think Coco Vandeweghe, she looks great on camera. All right, she comes across well. She seems very confident. Her voice sounds nice. She projects her voice and all of that stuff. But sometimes she can get a little rambly and take a really long time to get to the point. She's new, and it's live TV. You know, I don't do live because sometimes I get rambly and don't make my point, and then I just go delete when I edit. It doesn't happen too much anymore, but I've been doing this for years. You know, I'm pretty good now. Maybe I could go live. Coco Vandeweghe, brand new. I'll give her all that, but this was just egregious. Musetti should have been disqualified, should have been kicked out of the tournament for kicking a soccer ball at the ref. Football for Europeans out there. Take a look. This is what the fake news American tennis media showed first. Just kicks it right at her. One more time. Musetti kicks the ball viciously right into the stomach of the line judge. And then here is, thank God for Sam Querrey. He started that Nothing Major podcast. It's so good. Those guys are so funny. I love it. And he is on that team. And Coco Vandeweghe, she took this hard stance saying, we have got to draw the line because an umpire is going to get hurt. The rule is if you do it out of anger and it hits the umpire, you're out of there. In basketball, if you throw a basketball at the ref, you're out of there. Hockey, I don't know. Baseball, you're definitely out of there. You kick a little dirt on the ground at the ref and you're out of there in baseball. So Vandeweghe said it should be one rule applied to everything. You touch the ref with a tennis ball, with your hand, with your racket, anything, you're out of there, right? And then Sam Querrey said, whoa. I totally disagree with you. And thank God for Sam Querrey there. And he said, first off, he didn't just kick a ball. Oh, and this is everything Coco Vandeweghe said, which was kind of funny to me. She said, like, the rule is if you do it out of anger, you get ejected. And I don't think he was kicking that soccer ball for fun. I mean, the tennis ball, soccer style, as we Americans say. And then Querrey said, look, the ball kid kind of threw like multiple balls, and one of the balls like hit Musetti in the leg, and then he kind of kicked it away. Take a look at the real thing, the actual footage of what happened. Not out of context like Coco Vandeweghe and the fake news tennis media did. Okay, it bounced off his leg. He's like, okay, I don't want that one. I kick it. So sorry. Goes over, apologizes. Didn't hurt. And then Sam Querrey made a great point. He said, this needs to be case by case, okay? Every single one of these needs to be case. Coco Vandeweghe says, stamp them all the same. You touch the ref in any way with the ball. Doesn't matter if you just drop it like this. Doesn't matter if you throw it as hard as you can. You're out of there, right? And then Querrey says, absolutely not. You're totally wrong, Coco Vandeweghe, with all due respect. And this needs to be case by case. Djokovic, don't forget, he smacks a ball. The lady gets hit in the throat. She goes, and she falls over and almost dies. Maybe she's being dramatic, but that's hard. If you're the ref, you're like, okay, how am I going to explain this if I don't eject Djokovic from the tournament? You know, the lady is like choking on the tennis ball over here, falling on the ground. Maybe she played it up a little bit. Maybe she was slightly dramatizing it, but I don't think so. I think it hurt. She didn't expect it. You catch one in the throat. It was going fast enough. Djokovic gave it a little bit of a smack. It wasn't like a 100-mile-an-hour ball, but it was like 40, maybe 35, 44, something like that. It probably didn't feel good, but her falling to the ground, all that stuff, that sealed the fate of Novak Djokovic. And Sam Querrey's right, case by case, because you look at this is nothing. And I would hope no self-respecting ATP tennis professional would be like upset after they lose a match because they should have won, because that should have got their opponent disqualified. But Francis Tiafoe, we respect Tiafoe here. We don't pick him to go far. Maybe we'll shift our opinion even lower of Big Foe after this one.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he did that and nothing happened. I think that's comical, but it is what it is. Nothing happened, so there's nothing really to talk about.
So it is what it is.
Obviously he's not consistent, so it is what it is.
I'm sorry, Big Foe, but if you really think it's comical that nothing happened, like what is he saying here? I want to know exactly. He left it a little open. Now, I understand he just lost. Everyone thought he had, all the American tennis media thought he had a good shot. I didn't. I never thought that. I'm not part of the American fake news tennis media, though. Okay, I understand. He's disappointed, but still, Tiafoe, what did you want? Nothing happened. Did you want a point penalty? Did you want a game penalty? Or did you want to win the match over that? Because if anything was nothing happening, it was the soccer kick into the line judge at 1 mile an hour, which wasn't even intended to be a kick. The ball kid threw it out his leg, bounced off his leg. He's got incredible football skills, and he kicked it. And, this is a big deal for me to side with the Italian here. I'm really doing this on the merits. Maybe I'm a little biased because of the one-hand backhand. Back to Djokovic. Men 38 years old plus to reach a major semifinal. Ken Rosewall did it 5 times, and, of course, the last time he was 42, I think that was Wimbledon final when he lost to Jimmy Connors, who also did it in 1991 U.S. Open. Incredible run. Let's not skip over Pancho Gonzalez, legend of the game, in 1968, the year before the Grand Slam from Rod Laver. 2020 AO, Roger Federer, came back from the dead against Tennis Sangren and saved a bunch of match points. did magic tricks to win that match. Injured. Roger was injured in that match. That was the quarterfinal. Goes to the semifinal. Who does Roger lose to? He took a lead early in the first set, doing some magic tricks, but barely could move. It was the Joker who took him out in his 138-plus-year-old semifinal. Now the Joker has done it himself, and I think there's a good shot he's going to do more than just one. He's going to have more in common with Ken Rosewall than he is going to with Pancho, Jimmy, or Roger Federer. Novak Djokovic, incredible stats. But let's go back to this one. This is where it stood. Federer was 46 Grand Slam semifinals in his career. We didn't think anyone would pass that. I did say a while ago, maybe I thought, Joker could do it because he's going to have the most longevity because of the way he takes care of his body, even better than Roger and Rafa. Hey, Mrs. Cat. Rafa had 38. Djokovic had 45. Well, now Djokovic has 51. But I argue Djokovic should have 52, and he should have 25 majors already. Because if the disgusting, didactic Australian government hadn't deported Djokovic in 2022, it's a lot of D words, damn it. If they hadn't deported our dear, darling Djokovic in that year, not only would he have 13 semifinals at every major now, an even more incredible record, he would also already have 25 majors. Maybe he wouldn't even be here right now chasing number 26. Welcome to Coffee Break Dennis. In honor of Novak Djokovic and in honor of Iga Swiatek, we're drinking a Novak Djokovic style green. This is blue because the blueberries covering up some of the green. Green, healthy smoothie. And in honor of Iga Swiatek, after Aryna Sabalenka did her a big favor, we know that mental health and work-life balance is so important to Swiatek. And normally she works a lot of hours this time of year. And this year she's going to be able to cut it early and take a much-needed mental health break. So in honor of Iga Swiatek, I hope she's drinking a blue-green Novak Djokovic style smoothie as well and finally enjoying that vacation time that she's going to get. Let's go back to other things that annoy me. More TFO.
I just wanted to ask you about the incident in the second set when Musetti kicked a ball and it hit a line judge. These are obviously always strange incidents in tennis. I just wonder what your view was on that. And
Does anyone understand how unappealing that is to the fans and people watching, the big eye roll and all the attitude? Like, I get it. He just lost a huge match. I get it. Like, I would be upset too. Maybe I would react even worse. Maybe I'm a big hypocrite right now. But man, that just makes me like hate TFO now. I got to know. Like, I would love to actually talk to. He probably would tell me to go pound sand, kick rocks. But I would love to interview TFO and just ask him, what do you think? Like, he's not even going to answer. He wouldn't answer me. He didn't give them a real answer there. That's why, that whole well, nothing happened, so there's nothing to say. It's like he's trying to play it cool, like, it's not a big deal to me. But it's clearly a very big deal. Like, I want to know, what did he really want? Did he want to get a win over that? If that's the case, then I have no respect for that stance from TFO. That is just a disgrace. All right, moving on. The match, Djokovic, Zverev. I picked it. I was a little nervous, but I was pretty confident at the same time. I didn't say how many sets. I would have said Joker in 4 or 5. I like to hedge my bets and say 4 or 5. But I would have been right, half right. Anyways, Joker dropped the first set, got broken in the very first service game of the match. He started serving first. He got broken. But by the end, these numbers were better for Zverev. I think Joker might have been doing better on second serve after the first set numbers. But Zverev was getting more first serves in. He was winning a higher percentage. But by the end of the match, after 3 hours, 17 minutes, Joker getting just 1% higher, 71%. Joker served amazing. Fed-like. 71% first serves in compared to 70 for Zverev, which is very impressive as big as he serves. Joker and Zverev winning 76% on the first serve, dead even. And then here's a huge difference. This is what helps Joker hold and break. He's crunching down the numbers. This is a big deal, something Rafa did so well at the French. On clay, I mean everywhere, but especially on clay, you can get a lot of second serves. You can really hurt the second serve on clay. So it's a great place to crunch that number down, and Joker did it, took it down to 35. That's not going to cut it. Joker kept it above that magic number, 55%. Above 50%, you can definitely win. Above 55% on second serve, you're starting to look pretty good. You get it over 60, and you're unbeatable, basically. Break points converted. Joker had a lot of chance, 4 out of 8. So converted half of them. Just that one from the very beginning of the match. And, of course, there was that long rally, the 41-shot rally. I'd love to show it, but I'm not, just in case they take my video off of YouTube. Otherwise, I'd love to show you the 41-shot. That was a break point. That was one of the 3 precious break points that Zverev had, and Joker was so good in that point. You know, there weren't many. One thing I liked about Joker was if we were going, you know, cross-court, two-hand, backhand to backhand over and over, Joker didn't want to do that too much, you know. You don't want to have Zverev hitting a backhand down the line. Don't want to get him grooved on the backhand. Like, okay, I hit 5 backhand cross courts in a row. I'm feeling good. Now I'm going to rip one down the line. Joker did not want that to happen. So only in like that 41-shot rally did you ever see more than like 2 backhands cross court in a row. Like Joker would hit 1 or 2, and then either he would knife a slice down the line, which is a Fed play that Joker has copied, and get Zverev, whose forehand can fall apart, who's very tall, to get very low and try to dig out with his forehand, which can you can get an error that way, or you can just get a better ball to attack out of Zverev. Choking on chia seeds and hemp seeds from the Novak Djokovic style smoothie. Should have brought some water as well. Anyway, so yeah, Joker was not wanting to go cross court backhand to backhand too long with Zverev. He'd break it up with a drop shot. Obviously, he had more drop shots than second serves. He'd break it up by going to the forehand with the slice, changing the backhand up the line, getting around his backhand, taking a forehand more into the body in the middle of the court, and obviously just tons of drop shots. So I don't remember what my point was with that, but let's move on. Next stat. So while we're here, I just want to show you Bublik. Is he as good of a server as Zverev? Pretty close. He's one of the best servers on tour. Zverev's definitely one of the best servers. I don't know. What would you say? Second serve. Who's better second serve? You know, immediately I think about when Zverev was double faulting all the time, but he's fixed that. My point is this, though. Doesn't matter. They both have great serves. Some of the best serves on tour are Bublik and Zverev. And look at the number that got crunched down by Jannik Sinner. First off, 69% Sinner win on second. That's outrageous. Obviously, Djokovic can return much better than Bublik. But 22% win on second serve from Bublik. You know, 67 on first is decent, but your opponent's getting 78, so it doesn't look as good after that. But 22, not going to cut it. 14, that 22% win on second, that earned 14 breakpoint opportunities for Sinner, and he threw a bagel in there. Of course, we love bagels. Let's go back to this. So I've heard a lot of analysis of what Zverev did wrong in the match, and one thing that's definitely true is he just stands back too far, and he's always done it, and we see him work on it and try to like be more aggressive and step into the court and use his firepower to, you know, get more return from it. And you know, we see him do it sometimes, but in these big matches, he always reverts back to what's comfortable, especially on slippy and slidey clay. Like Djokovic is always going to hit a deep ball. He keeps the ball super deep. You're standing back, so you're not getting a lot of chances to step in anyways. Naturally, with Djokovic's deep ball, it's harder to step in on it. And then you're already like way back, so you're just asking to be drop shotted. And, you know, look at this. Like, Zverev has a bigger serve than Djokovic. There's no denying that. Why is Zverev the guy who's almost 20 feet behind the baseline? And it looks like Joker is about between 9 and 10 feet behind the baseline. The guy with the giant serve is returning the smaller serve from way, way back. This also is the reason why, if you didn't notice, Djokovic hit a ton of slice serves in the deuce court, just cutting them over there. And when you're far, far back, that's, you know, on first serves. And it's hard to read when, you know, it's Fed-like in that it's hard to read when Djokovic is not going to go, you know, he could hit flat up the tee or he could slice it out wide. It's kind of hard to read it. And you're standing that far back, the slice serve is going to destroy you, and Zverev had a lot of trouble with that. One other thing I heard during the broadcast, Zverev is too predictable, not just because of his court positioning, but he just tends to hit cross-court all the time, especially with that backhand. Take a look at this. I think Patrick Mack or Johnny Mack, when they saw this, they're like, I'm surprised it's not freaking 80%. But 63%, much more than half the time, Zverev is hitting cross-court. down the middle 15 to the Djokovic forehand, or down the line from the backhand of Zverev 22% of the time. And just to show you comparison, here's Joker. He's mixing it up less than half the time he's going cross. Not a whole lot down the middle. Changing it down the line to the Zverev forehand. Again, he didn't want to let him have a lot of backhands too. But 41% of the time, that's a lot to go down the line. So let's hear what Jim Courier, I'll read it to you. You can hear it, but I won't hear it. I will be reading it and saying it aloud so that you can hear it. Let's hear what Jim Courier had to say. It's phenomenal to watch Djokovic pick apart someone as consistent as Zverev is on the baseline with the drop shot. It's not like Zverev doesn't know that it's going to come at some point, because Novak has such penetration with his backhand depth. It pins him back a little bit, makes him vulnerable to the drop shot. So Novak waits for the right time. The moment he gets the opportunity, he goes to the drop shot. Zverev comes in, it's a passing shot. It's a lob. These are mostly successful for Djokovic. That was the key to this match. The wide serve in the deuce court was so devastating, because you saw how far back. The further back you are, the longer that slice serve has to curl away from my forehand and get lower and lower, because it's got slice on it, so it's going to drop some more. Sasha couldn't quite figure out how to get the forehand shot short cross court when Novak would serve and volley in that last game multiple times. Yeah, Djokovic said later, because I was thinking like, man, Djokovic looks very tentative, and he was kind of nervous. Maybe he's tired. He can't hit through Zverev to finish this match. So I was wondering what's up with that. In the press conference, Joker said the wind was coming from that side. So he said it felt like you're playing two people. You're playing the wind and your opponent. So that makes sense. So because of the wind, and he said he's a little nervous too closing out the match. It's a big match. Zverev is one of the favorites at the French. He's outside of Sinner and Alcaraz, but the last few years people have thought Zverev could do big things. That last year that Rafa won it and Zverev got hurt, it looked like Zverev might beat Rafa in that match. Of course, I wouldn't bet that, but Rafa didn't look like he was in a great place when Zverev got hurt. Maybe a little relieved to get out of there. Anyway, so he said, that wind was there, and he just felt like he couldn't hit through Zverev, and Zverev got really consistent. Zverev locked in. This is what Zverev wants. They hit a lot of backhand rallies in that last game. So Djokovic hit a ton of drop shots in that last game. And of course, the serve and volleys, that's what got me talking about this. The serve and volleys on deuce usually came at deuce. Djokovic's probably not going to do it on break point, maybe not on match point even. But on deuce, he did it a few times, and every time it was slice serve out wide, low to the Zverev forehand, get Zverev out wide, down low. And Zverev couldn't hit like that sharp angle passing shot. He just hit it right to Joker, who's running in with the backhand volley and hitting it into the open court. Backhand not very dangerous on clay when you're way over there and can't get to it, slipping and sliding, spinning your wheels, as they say. Jim Courier was nice. Spare a thought for Zverev, he says. He put his heart and soul into matches like this, but he hasn't quite got it figured out. The search continues. Disappointment for the German. Elation for Novak. What a semifinal this tournament has generated. Fantastic French Open. Fantastic Four. Sinner Alcaraz, the new two, into the semis. Musetti, a revelation of light. And this guy going for number 25 in 2025. Thank you, tennis gods. Thank you for Novak Djokovic, says Jim Courier. So we look ahead. I'm not going to talk we have the weather report. We'll look at the weather report in a bit. I'm not going to talk a whole lot about Alcaraz, Musetti, because one, I don't have much time. I've been doing a tennis camp all day, and I have a group tennis lesson I am doing in just a couple of hours. So I want to edit this and get this up. I have a match tonight, fully loaded here at Coffee Break Tennis. Don't worry, though. Wimbledon, our priority tournament. Wimbledon, I have cleared the schedule for the most part for the 2 weeks of Wimbledon. So looking forward to that. We'll make more videos than we have done for this French Open, of course. Here's the head-to-head. I'll just say, when we look at the weather, I'll talk a little bit about the matchup, because I think the biggest thing is, Musetti could win, sure, but I'm going to go Alcaraz in 4, even 3 maybe. I would love it if Musetti won. I would love to see a one-handed backhand doing well, having a lot of success, and I hope Musetti gets better and better and can maybe grab one of these majors, or at least be a guy who's in the quarters and semis at majors very regularly to represent our lost art of the one-handed backhand. Anyway, so let's go to Sinner really quick. Head-to-head with Joker, it's 4-4. In majors, it's Joker 2-1. Of course, the last meeting was the one win for Sinner. 2024 Australian Open semis, Sinner 6-1, 6-2. Just blowing Joker off the court, I remember being shocked. And Joker was shocked. Everyone was shocked. And then Joker dug deep, got a set in a tiebreak, didn't have a whole lot left, got 6-3'd in the end. Djokovic won in 2023 at the ATP Finals. Last time Joker won it, he set the new record, getting 7, where Federer had 6 ATP Finals victoires. 2023, they had a brutal match in the group stages, tie breaks, 3 sets, and then Joker crunched him, 6-3, 6-3. Joker looking like, he's going to win a bunch of majors in 2024, maybe beyond. And then Sinner wins that Davis Cup match. But then Sinner wins that 2024 Australian Open match. They have not played since. That's an interesting factor in this match to me. The 2 wins in the majors come from Djokovic, I think both at Wimbledon. One time when Sinner was up 2-0 and surprised Sinner. He surprised the tennis world at that Wimbledon. Don't remember which year that was. And then I think they had a rematch the year after or 2 years after, and Djokovic won it a lot easier. Probably 2024 Wimbledon would have been that one. Anyways, we move along. Let's go to the weather report because I think this is important. So the match is no more night matches. We're in the day. It's cloudy, but it's sunny. It's not hot for sure. It's not freezing. It's kind of very nice. 68 at the start. 68, 69 degrees Fahrenheit. Sorry for you Europeans. I can do kilometers to miles, but I can't do the weather thing. I have a hard time with that. But it's going to be a little humid. We're going to look at the humidity report, but 2:30 start time for Musetti and Alcaraz. Sunny but cloudy. We'll see how cloudy it actually is on the day. But I think sunny enough. The ball should be jumping, but it's not hot. So that's good for Musetti. I think Alcaraz is going to be hitting Rafa forehands. Obviously, he's not a lefty, so it's a little harder to do it. But if you look at their match in Rome, he's hitting a lot of big, heavy, spinning, bouncing forehands at the backhand. And Musetti's backhand is very good. He can handle some of them. But over the course of a best-of-5 sets match, I think it's a factor. So how cloudy is it actually going to be? If the clay gets cooked by the sun enough, it's really going to jump out there. But, it's not hot. So that's good for Musetti. That gives him a chance. That actually makes me want to change my prediction. I say Alcaraz in 5 now. Alcaraz in 5. Humidity. 59% humidity. That'll make the ball bounce a little less. There'll be a little less action on that ball. It's not insane humidity, but there's some humidity. That's a factor. By the time we get to 7 o'clock, 55. So it's still like moderate humidity. It's down a little bit. Joker starts at 7 with Sinner. 68 degrees and cooling. Excuse me. I don't think this is great for Djokovic, Like, he might have wanted the day match with Sinner. And I think about that Miami final against Minchik that Djokovic lost. Now that, I don't think it was, let's see. I don't think it was so 68 degrees at the start of the match. I do not believe that it was 68 degrees in Miami. It can get cool at night there, but I don't think they play super late on the final on a Sunday in Miami. I can't recall what time they do the finals usually. I think it must be earlier because I slept through one of them many years ago when Davydenko beat Nadal. We missed it, me and my buddy. Anyway, at least we saw Davydenko beat Roddick, but we had a party and slept through. We got to catch the Devils in Miami that year. Anyways, whenever Davydenko won Miami that year, it was fairly early if we missed the match. Got there just in time for everyone to leave. It was a blowout, Anyways, so it was probably not in the 60s when Djokovic played Minchik. And the reason why I'm talking about this so long is because Djokovic looked destroyed. Like, he fought so hard to get the 100 final in Miami. It was one of his first big titles he got in 2007. I was there. First tennis match I ever saw. Djokovic beating Kanyas. Never forget it. Would have been cool to get number 100 in Miami and Masters 1000. It was not to be. And I think a big factor of that match was it was super humid, slowed down conditions. Minchik was able to hit through the heavy conditions like Sinner will be able to. And Djokovic was sweating everything out and just getting worn out. Humidity makes it really hard on the body to fight through a battle. Now, Sinner, humidity is not good for him. Sinner is Mr. Cramp. And as we saw earlier in our last show, Marion Bartoli said, when Sinner goes to 4 hours plus, especially 4 hours and a half, body just falls apart. Now, typically, he beats people faster than that takes. When he won that major in 2024 last year, I said Medvedev is going to make this a long, brutal match, and Sinner probably won't hang. It was a long match, but the problem was Medvedev ran out of gas because he had played so many freaking 5-setters leading up to it. So it didn't work out that way. So let's see. I wanted to look ahead. By 9 o'clock, humidity goes up to 62%, temperature 65. So it's cooler, but you're still getting drained by that high humidity. Let's see if the match goes over 4 hours. It's going to be 11 p.m. plus. Humidity goes up at 11 p.m. Temperature 62, but 72% humidity. I've played in cool conditions where the humidity is really high, higher than 72, and it can really drain you. So this one is really hard for me to pick, and I'm going to think about my pick while you listen to Patrick McEnroe talk about this epic matchup. He just heard from the TNT crew, and they were talking about how if Joker wins this, he just beat number 3 in Zverev. He's got to beat number 1 in Sinner, and most likely it will not be Musetti. There's a good chance it'll be Alcaraz, number 2. You got to beat 3-2-1, the top 3 players in the world, to win your 25th major in the year 2025. If Joker does it, I mean, he's done so many things that you say is like just the biggest accomplishment ever. This is right up there as one of the most impressive things anyone's ever done. It'd probably be Joker's number 1, like, crowning achievement in the history books years from now, to say, like, he was getting close to 40 and he beat the top 3 players in the world to win the hardest, most physical Grand Slam to win the French Open. Do I think he's going to do that? It's going to be really hard, but if anyone is going to do it, it's the Joker.
To your point, Adam, this would be, to me, one of the most remarkable achievements of his career, if he can pull this off. Because in my mind, he's a solid underdog against Zverev.
For sure.
And if it's Alcaraz, I think he's more than a solid underdog because of Alcaraz's prowess on this surface. Yes. Sinner is great too, but he hasn't won this title. And I think he still can be vulnerable, even though he hasn't looked it yet on clay. So Djokovic is going to try to do that. He's going to try to play short. He's going to try to mix it up. He's going to have to use every single trick he's ever had, because forehand, Sinner's is better right now. Yes. Bigger, faster. Backhand, Djokovic has more variety. He can play the slice, but his backhand Sinner's is way bigger right now. Serve, bigger. Second serve, bigger.
Movement?
Yes.
Movement, you could, I'm going to say that's a push, but you could probably argue that Sinner's actually moving better now as well.
You got to give it a youth in that.
I'm not going to give it to youth off the bat because Djokovic is, to me, the greatest mover of all time.
Does Novak have a pillar that he beats Sinner in?
He has, the pillar is the intangibles. That's the pillar. And he also is, from just a technical standpoint, he can come in better, he can finish a little better, he can play the midcourt, but he's going to have to pull it all out to have a chance.
Absolutely, and I think
so he's better at net. He can play the midcourt. He's got a better slice backhand. But as you heard Patty Mac say, Sinner, much bigger. We covered it in the last video. Sinner's got like the biggest forehand on tour, basically. Definitely on average. Backhand, it's bigger. Doesn't have as good of a slice as Joker, but two-hand backhand, ripping it, it's bigger. First, second serve are now bigger. I would say another factor on serve is who places it better. Sinner's placing it pretty well, but I would say Joker's definitely placing his serve better than like Alcaraz, and Sinner's definitely better than Alcaraz. I'd put Djokovic a little ahead of Sinner on the serve placement. This is going to be really tough. Hit the music because I got to get out of here. I don't want to waste any of that Novak Djokovic style smoothie. This is such a hard match to pick, but I'm going to go with, Joker I think is fairly fresh now. I think he will be. He's going to do everything. He's going to pull all the tricks that he has in the match, and he's also going to do all of his recovery tricks to get ready. He looked like maybe against Zverev at times he was feeling it physically a little because Joker had to work really hard in that match. But I think he is probably fit enough that he can maybe outlast Sinner in this match. I know this is crazy, but I have a hard time seeing Joker blow him off the court. I feel like there's going to be a set where Sinner takes it like 6-1 or 6-2 or 6-3 at least. Where he kind of easily takes one from Djokovic and just plays awesome. But Joker's so good that I think he can find a way to stay in this match, make it go really late, make it be really brutal and physical. And even though Djokovic, he was fighting so hard in Miami to get that title there, and it was pretty important to him, obviously, winning another major is such a big deal. Beating Sinner, I think beating this new number one Sinner he hasn't seen since 24. Again, another interesting factor here. And Sinner hasn't seen him in a while. I think that sparks something. The Grand Slams, they're asking Joker in the presser saying, you said after you lost to Madrid, these first rounds, it's a new normal for you and you got to get used to it. And he's like, yeah, it's something I got to get used to, big tournaments, Masters 1000s. But for me, and he said it, respectfully to the game and the tournaments, at this point in my career, it's all about the majors. So this is like a nice way of saying, yeah, it's a new normal where I lose earlier at some tournaments because I don't care. Like, those tournaments are only things for me to get ready for majors. That's it. Federer was like that for the last 5 years of his career. Rafa was only thinking about clay for years, only thinking about the French, getting another French Open. So I think the Joker, he doesn't have any reason to not be motivated for this match. Like this is it. This is why he's still playing. To try to win majors and to take on the top players in the game. And what would be better to beat this guy that everyone thinks is unbeatable now? And Sinner, I think Djokovic is going to find a way to get this guy past the 4.5 hour mark. If someone's going to do it, it's Alcaraz or it's going to be Djokovic. I think Djokovic can do it. I picked Djokovic in 5. I guess I got, I don't feel right saying Alcaraz in 5 over Mazzetti. I'm going back with Alcaraz in 4, Djokovic in 5. Yeah, I'm biased towards the big 3, but they're my guys, and I'm going to pick them until I really think they can't do it anymore. Joker can still do it. I give him a shot. We will be back after the semifinals, so I can celebrate the Joker win, or I can apologize for making a bad pick. It will be Beer Hall Freitag, so leave some comments down below, and I'll try to read as many comments as possible tomorrow after the matches. See ya!